Would you call Victor Osimehn a world-class striker, and why?
How do you define a world-class striker?
Mm.
If you ask me now and say define a world-class striker, I would just paint a picture of Victor Osimehn for you.
Okay, okay,
Osimhen
okay.
is fast, is strong, is able to press, he can jump, he can shoot,
Yeah.
and then the numbers speak for him. So, like, you can say people like Filippo Inzaghi way back,
Yeah.
people who are foxes in the box,
Yeah.
are world-class strikers. We could call Jamie Vardy a world-class striker, and somehow we are not seeing Osimhen, who shares so many characteristics with people like Carlos Tevez for his tirelessness up front, people like Wayne Rooney, and people like even Zlatan Ibrahimovic. How can we say he's not a? Is it because we are Nigerians and then we don't think we can have? Look, we should be pushing for Nigerian players to win the Ballon.
I think that, like you just said, the PR machine
Yes.
behind Victor Osimhen. Because if you look at the start and you put a Victor Osimhen start side by side with an Alexander Isak, for example,
You get,
Osimhen is head and shoulders above
you get
from the start. But
Sesko.
somehow, even Eucharist,
Apart from his exploits last season,
for Sporting Lisbon.
Yes.
But if you look at their
this
career
season
so
now,
far,
if you look at this season,
even this season, you see that Victor Osimhen is on the same level, even a little bit above some of these people. He may not be in the elite level of an Haaland or
yes,
Mbappe,
yes,
but of course he is not below Isak.
he's not far behind
Yeah,
them.
he's not far behind
He's
them.
not far
Yes.
behind them.
He's
You
not
know,
below those people.
when I
So
woke up,
the PR machine, like you said, has affected someone like Victor Osimhen. And I look at some of the big clubs in the Premier League, for example, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, that needed strikers. And I still wonder why nobody went for Victor Osimhen.
listen, if when I woke up this morning, the first thing I did was to watch a video of Osimhen at the Under-17 World Cup where he broke the scoring records. And you could see Osimhen was young
Very
and raw.
Yeah, raw, yes.
Catch them young. It's very, very important. And that's how, about 10 years later, Osimhen is still performing.
At that level, yes.
You understand? Because you had people like Xavi, who played at the Under-17 World Cup. You had people like David De Gea, who played at the Under-17 World Cup. Catch them young when they are 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
There's a reason for age grade tournament. And then these players will develop to becoming top players
Yes.
much later. You understand the point? And then you have to understand this. So many of this, it might be based on negotiations, based on what he was offered. It might be based on what he decided on his own. It might be maybe these clubs did not call him for one or two reasons, because you cannot build your team around a striker who would leave you in January and February for the African Cup of Nations. And that's why we have been saying there should be a change. There should be a change in the calendar. Put the Nations Cup when at the off season. That would enable more African players to be at the top level, and that was one of the edge that Sir Alex Ferguson had over other coaches in his playing career. Most of his team, he had African players, of course, but he built his team around players who could be with him all through the season.
Yes.
You understand the point? Yeah. And that's the edge that he had over teams like Arsenal, who would lose Adebayo, Kolo Toure. Yes, Man City would lose Yaya Toure. Yeah. Chelsea would lose Drogba, Mikel Obi, Solomon Kalou, Gervinho. That 2 months where you lose the players that you built your team around, that's when Ferguson goes on beast mode. That's when he starts dominating the league from around December to March, at which point he would have opened up, let's say, a 6 or 8 point lead. Yeah. You understand? And then he just tried to finish up the season, and then he would win the title again.
Could it be because of I look at the AFCON, it's a unique time. It's a unique period to play. January, beginning of the year, and all of that.
February.
And then ends in February. But if we move the AFCON to the off-season, so it means that there are some years we would have the AFCON going on side by side, the
World Cup,
European Championship, for example.
Yes, then side by side with the World Cup too.
No, side by side, it could clash with the World Cup.
Yes,
it would clash with Copa America.
Now this is
and
what
other tournaments.
This is what
maybe CAF is thinking we may not get as much buzz.
Listen,
If we play the Nations Cup side by side, the European Championship, for example,
yeah.
we may not get that television audience, for example.
Now, listen.
Yeah.
Listen. What we just need to do is to ensure that it does not clash with the World Cup, because obviously we would have representative at the World Cup too.
Yeah.
You understand? So now you do a mini version after the next edition. You wait for another 1 year. You do a mini version, or you do another Nations Cup. You know, there was a time even Copa America played. They had three competitions in 4 years or thereabouts, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
You understand? So they could balance, one or two things. Even the Euros 2020 held in 2021. You understand the point? So it can be shifted, it can be moved. Just hold an extra edition. We Africans are going to, I'm telling you, if Super Eagles is playing today, most Nigerians would not leave the game for a Brazilian game or an Argentinian game, except we are losing. And guess what? Because of the time zone issues, the Copa America is played around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So the time will not even clash. And if it does clash with Europe, then this is the time we start building our football to actually compete with them. Because we cannot keep, we have to, we say these things, all fingers are not equal. What is wrong with being the longest finger? We should, look, I'm saying this, the the NFF should have a goal that in the next 10 years, we want to produce a Ballon d'Or winner. This is something that is doable, because people who are winning Ballon d'Ors, they are humans like us now. Vinicius Junior was just a player who was brought to Real Madrid because he performed well in the Brazilian league, and that's because the structure for performances is in the Brazilian league. We can have that. There are so many talented players who are playing in the young people who are currently in JSS1, JSS2, who are very, very talented. Many of them might even be from poor homes where they have to now learn a trade to augment, some of them can even sell pure water. Some of them can, they just get on the street once they're able to write WAEC. But if we have a structure where these guys are, brought in, and then when you have quality players who are playing at the same level, the tendency to improve will be there. And these players are automatically improved from competing with themselves at the youth level. Then when they go to a qualitative league, they start showing their class. And then because you now have their age history, you have their medical history, clubs from everywhere will come. Instead of going to Brazil to sign a player for $5 or $10 million, just come to Benin Insurance or Kano Pillars and give them 500,000. They will be happy. $500,000 would be like 750 million naira, which would be a big win. And that will put more money into the Nigerian football industry, because more people will be agents, more people will be lawyers, more people will be scouts. People will go into the physio aspect of football. You understand the point? That puts more money into the Nigerian economy. This is an indictment to our government, because we are so unimaginative. Now, even away from football, and this Museum of West African Arts that opened yesterday in Benin City, you had talks that went there, to chase the tourists and the expatriates that came in. Now, would you in your right senses want to come down from Europe, for example, to come to an area where you feel unsafe to come and watch football? You would not. I was in Anambra State recently. People kept telling me, if you are in Onitsha, watch yourself. The thugs that are there, they'll do this to you, they'll do that to you, they'll do this to you. You understand? So now, would I want to, risk my life to go to such an area to watch a match between two football clubs? No. So these are the issues.
Not to cut you from that, but the insecurity situation, I think, is a global problem. Even in the UK.
No, not just insecurity.
Even in the UK, there are times you go and see some games, and then you have to really be extra careful.
No. This
coming
is
out of such venues. We are all looking forward to the World Cup. The World Cup is the biggest football tournament in the world. The World Cup is a tournament that every child who loves football, or who got exposed to football, if you are not an American, the rest of the world, because we love football, or you call it soccer, the World Cup is the dream, is the ultimate. Do you agree with me, first of all? The World Cup is the pinnacle.
Of course, I do. I do.
All right. So this is me not trolling your goats, for example, but this is me going towards the last interview Cristiano Ronaldo and Piers Morgan, and he tried to talk down the World Cup.
Now, this is it.
Mhm.
Did you watch the interview from start to finish?
I watched that particular clip.
And that's because you take things out of context, you know. And I've always said this: we are not just, if there's a time for banter and there's a time to intelligently analyze football.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not bantering your goat
I
right
understand.
now.
I understand.
I'm asking you a question.
Listen,
Yes.
listen. I just prefer Cristiano Ronaldo to Lionel Messi for so many reasons. But
Yeah.
what he said was not to talk down on the World Cup or to talk down on Lionel Messi. What he was referring to was that he has done so much
Yeah.
for his national team, for his club teams, that it would be very, very insane to now measure his greatness by the outcome of a competition where you just play 7 games. And that's the truth. There are so many great players that never won the World Cup. There are so many great players that never won the Champions League, which is the most prestigious club competition. Does that take anything away from their greatness? No, it doesn't. So I agree. The World Cup is, and because it is aired once every 4 years, and then the rigors of qualifying for it, you know, that's the time when everyone is looking at it has so many viewers, you know. People want to watch the World Cup. People want to, you know, it's also a time for tourism. It's also a time for arts and culture, you know. So he's right, and you are also right. The World Cup is the most prestigious competition because of the fact that it is one of the purest competitions you can have in terms of FIFA actually controlling it. Because if you look at the Champions League, it's controlled by UEFA, you know, and then other nations from other continents cannot really have a claim to it. You can't expect a Nigerian now to tell you that the Euros is the best national competition. You have to go to the World Cup, which is collective for everybody. But you cannot tell me that if I have done so much in my life, then you now want to measure me by the outcome of a competition or outcome of what I did within a 3 or 4 months period. That is wrong.
Now, see where this argument holds. I'm not trying to call out Cristiano Ronaldo, but this is where the argument holds, right? I think that every time Messi achieves something that he has not achieved, he likes to talk down that thing. Now,
Ronaldo is a bigger player. He's a bigger influencer.
The World Cup,
so why do you think he's
the World Cup is the holy grail for any footballer, right? When you win the World Cup, you have technically done it all. When you win the World Cup, whether we like it or not. Now,
as Dibu Martinez,
the Champions League.
Hold on, has Dibu Martinez done it all? No, listen. Before you continue,
yes.
Has Dibu Martinez, who won the World Cup, done it all?
You may say
it's a yes or no question.
We may now say, okay, for club, it may not achieve everything.
No,
but for its national team, as a footballer,
this is a yes or no
football player, right?
So
as a football player, what is more important? Laurels for your national team or laurels for your club side? What do you think drives an average kid trying to play football? He wants to get glory for his country. No. The glory you get for your country is more important. Even Thomas Muller said this. He said winning the World Cup is greater an achievement than anything he could have done with Bayern Munich, because when he won the World Cup, it was 80 million Germans celebrating at the same time. It's not the same impact when you win the UEFA Champions League or the league for your club side.
You know the issue.
Now, saying that the World Cup is just 7 games, the Champions League is 13 games. From the old format, from the first game you play home and away, 6 group games, then you play your knockout, it's 13 games, right? But the average league season is 38 games. Which is more prestigious, to win your league or to win the Champions League?
So now let me
of course we'll say it's the Champions League, right?
So
the number of matches you play has nothing to do with how great the tournament is. I hope Ronaldo wins the World Cup in 2026. I think it would be justice. It would be a crowning moment for him if he wins the World Cup. So, but saying that the World Cup does not play any major role in how people see him is just
okay. Now, so I'm going to go into this because there's something about you Messi fans that sounds like extremism. It sounds like extremism. And I'm going to be very clear when I say this because uh, um, Ronaldo does not really give much attention to Lionel Messi or any other
He
footballers, like
does.
you said.
He does.
And I'm going to quote you now. I'm
He
going to
does.
quote what you said. You said Thomas Muller said when he won the. So now we can quote Thomas Muller and take his word for it and not quote Cristiano Ronaldo. Now look at the basis of your argument. So just because Thomas Muller came out and said, well, when I won the World Cup, this is what made my career 80 million. When Ronaldo won the champ, do you know how many of us were in Upper celebrating alone? And that's just Upper Sakomba Road. Now look at the amount of no, even when Cristiano Ronaldo won the Euros in 2016 with the Portuguese national team, we were running around
Exactly.
till the night.
I was
Listen
going.
now.
I was coming to
Let
the
me
Euros. See,
wait now. I'm not done.
When it comes to our faves, I think that most times we throw common sense out the window, and I can be guilty of this too. In 2016, when Ronaldo won the Euros, Messi had not won a national team trophy at that point. Everyone in the world trolled Messi. Cristiano Ronaldo literally crowned himself the GOAT of this sport because he had won something with Portugal. Fast forward 9 years later, Messi does everything, and now we're now saying it doesn't really matter. I think it does.
Okay,
This banter started with Ronaldo fans in 2016 after he had won the Euros, right? And even myself, we all talked down Messi and said he had done nothing for the national team. Now the young man goes ahead and completes football because after the World Cup, there's nothing else to do, right? It completes football, and now we're now saying it's not really important. I think.
Do you know what we will do? It's hypocrisy and lack of humility from Cristiano Ronaldo. So, please, we are going to put your address in the comment section so that Cristiano Ronaldo can come and pay personal homage to you. Because all of this is, like I told you, it reeks of football extremism. I mean, I've already passed the stage of banter. That's just the truth because I now analyze football from a holistic point of view. The Portuguese national team had never won a national title in their history. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo led the Portuguese team to a trophy. And he comes out to say, I'm finally happy because I have finally won a national team trophy. I feel like I've completed football. He did not mention Lionel Messi. He never mentioned any of Lionel Messi's fans' names. He's just doing his thing and making his money. You understand the point? So I don't really understand. I'm not holding brief for Cristiano Ronaldo because I'm not his family member. I don't earn money from him. I'm not his a loyalist. I love him because I love his style of play. He used to play for Manchester United, which is my main club. He played for Real Madrid, which is another club that I love. So in fact, Real Madrid is my second club after Manchester United. So now, and then Lionel Messi had an history of always tormenting the Nigerian national team right from the under 20 level, where even the penalties that they had in that final. Listen, I'm giving you an idea of how I think. I'm not just your regular football fan or your regular Ronaldo fan. Of course, I prefer Cristiano Ronaldo, but let me give you an idea. Cristiano Ronaldo, at the point Lionel Messi was playing for the Argentina national team, under 20 team that beat the Super Eagles in a keenly contested final that many Nigerians will still tell you that we feel we were robbed.
We're not robbed.
Listen now, listen.
They were clear penalties.
You are not the whole of Nigeria.
They were clear penalties.
Please let me finish making my point. Listen, let me finish making my point. At that point in time, Cristiano Ronaldo was already wearing the number 7 jersey for Manchester United. Now, is it not reasonable that because I don't see you now supporting Alejandro Garnacho over Bukayo Saka that plays for you? This is just common sense. Now, Ronaldo does his thing. And when Ibrahimovic comes out to talk about his greatness or his personal achievements, I don't see you people fuming about it. You are not being paid by Messi. You are on TV, you are on YouTube. You ought to have a certain balance when you analyze football. So when you now come to do beer parlor banter on TV, it tells a lot to, and that's why you say you can throw logic away because of your faves. You can, but I won't do that because there are so many people that are currently, looking up to us for football information, and we ought to give them qualitative information. When there's a time for banter, we can have this banter even on our program. We have live viewers who would come in. But to now look at an interview for Cristiano Ronaldo, you did not watch the full interview. I have watched the full interview. They talked about him personally. talked about his achievements, his engagement.
Did Ronaldo mention Messi in that? Did Ronaldo mention Messi in that interview?
You have to watch it on your own.
I did.
You have to watch it on your own.
Did he mention Messi in that interview?
Then you can answer the question for yourself.
Did he say that Messi was not the best Argentine player?
Hold on. You have to. That's his opinion. He can have his own opinion. So
why is he always trolling Messi?
So,
I love Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's not trolling.
I think
that's not trolling.
Okay,
no, that's not trolling.
So it's okay. It will be okay for Messi to come out and say that the greatest Portuguese player is
Eusebio.
Yes. Figo.
Yes. That's it's well within his rights. You understand the point? It's well within his rights. Ronaldo can say anything. He has done enough to earn the bragging right to say anything in football. You understand the point? So when he's being interviewed, for example, listen, and let me give you an example of what you are not seeing. You know, the main crux of this our program today was to talk about the Super Eagles and the our qualification prospects for the World Cup, right? So now you veered into a Messi versus Ronaldo debate, which wasn't planned for. So now imagine that Cristiano Ronaldo is sitting here with you and you are interviewing him about his engagement to his girlfriend, Georgina, and then the role that his children played during the engagement, about how many cars he has, about how many days he has, about when he became a billionaire. And then you as a presenter, you suddenly bring up a question. You'll be like, okay, what do you see about this? Because the thing is that it's inevitable that you're going to always compare Ronaldo and Messi. And if you ask me, they have both been class. They have shown each other mutual respect, even though they are rivals. They have been very respectful to it. You cannot compare the love between Ronaldo and Messi versus Lamine Yamal and Vinicius Junior today. It is very, very different. You ask Messi a question about Ronaldo, he responds with class. You ask Ronaldo about Messi, he responds with class. And that's his personal opinion. And you have been quoting Thomas Muller since. So you can
Ronaldo did not respond with class in that interview.
Why is it that? Let me ask you a question.
Ronaldo tried to talk down the World Cup.
No, he didn't.
He talked down the World Cup.
He wants to win the World Cup.
He has talked down the Ballon d'Or.
That's not true. That's not true. He said he wants to win the World Cup. Like he plans to get married on the night after the World Cup.
He said it is not a dream anymore.
Because he has, listen now, Ronaldo is no longer 18. Ronaldo is 40. In 2 months, Ronaldo will be 41.
So the World Cup is no more his dream.
Listen, why should it be his dream? After winning 35 trophies, even 3 with your national team. So why should you now push? And wait, hold on. Like, why do you think you can define Cristiano Ronaldo's dream for him?
Because Cristiano Ronaldo is not consistent with his opinions.
So
before Messi won the World Cup,
Cristiano
Ronaldo was quoted in an interview with St. Piers Morgan saying that the dream is the World Cup.
So now
Messi has won the World Cup. He suddenly says it's not a big deal anymore.
Now listen.
When he had more Ballon d'Ors, he said his dream was to have the highest number of Ballon d'Ors. Messi goes ahead and wins more, and then suddenly the Ballon d'Or is rigged. When it was Golden Boot and he had more, he said then that the Golden Boot is a better way of judging greatness because it is not an award that is voted for. It's an award that you play to get. Messi wins more, and all of a sudden it doesn't.
You know the funny thing. You know the funny thing about Messi fans.
I am not here to banter Cristiano Ronaldo. You know the funny thing. But I think I have a duty to call out the inconsistencies in what he has said so far, right? And then also call out certain Ronaldo fans or certain Messi fans who take this thing to the extreme.
No, listen.
And that's what we're trying to do right now, right?
Messi for me, I want to come in
is the greatest football player of all time.
For me, the GOAT is
Cristiano Ronaldo.
You understand?
Is the
hold on.
greatest goal scorer.
My GOAT is Yakubu Ayobeni. You understand?
That's how the argument ends.
No, that's not how it does. You understand? Because I say this thing. This is extremism, and I've had this banter with so many Messi fans, even on Facebook. You understand? It looks like extremism because you people now think football should be played in one way. Ronaldo has to be very quiet and not say anything about himself. Ronaldo has to play to a certain gallery. He doesn't need that. Ronaldo has an opinion. He can come out today and tell you, I'm no longer the GOAT. The GOAT right now is Harry Maguire. We were having a football discussion the other day, and I told you that I would put Gary Neville as my greatest right back of all time and put Harry Maguire. Hold on, let me finish. Yeah. And I will put Harry Maguire in center defense because of how he handled the pressure and abuse that he faced. That is my reason for putting Harry Maguire there. And I'm sure 99% of football fans in the world would probably think, is this guy crazy? But I have my personal reasons. You understand the point? And this is the issue you people have. I'm going to fact check you on all you said, where Ronaldo said winning the World Cup is his dream, and then suddenly after Messi won, I'm going to fact check it and come back to you.
Yeah.
But that being said, the thing is that you can quote Lionel Messi, you can quote Harry Maguire, you can quote Thomas Muller, you can quote Chukwueze, you can quote Onana. But once it's Ronaldo, that you people get angry, you people get vituperative. Why did he say this? Why did he say that? And that is very, very wrong, because this feels like abuse. Let's just be honest, because Cristiano Ronaldo is just a normal human being with family who is trying to earn a living for himself and his family, who is trying to make his country proud. So each time he says something or he does an interview, and you are looking, I watched Lionel Messi's interview.
Let me excuse you.
I watched Lionel Messi's interview with Fabrizio Romano. You don't see me coming out to lambast him that he said this or he said that. Lionel Messi has said that the quality of the MLS is very, very strong. It's very, very competitive. You know, it's hard to score. Blah 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 blah. You did see Ronaldo fans or other football fans attacking Messi for it. But the moment Cristiano Ronaldo comes out to say that, and it's very surprising that you are even falling for it, because I know you as a person who knows football a lot. You understand? So now, the moment Ronaldo comes out to say the Saudi Arabian league is very strong, in fact, I feel it is stronger than the French league, because in France,
that was absolute nonsense.
Hold on now.
Ronaldo was talking nonsense.
No, I've not even finished. Now, I've not even finished.
That part of that.
There's also an extended conversation.
That part was something I decided not to bring up here because I think it was beginning to. I think Ronaldo is. Somebody needs to tell him to shut up at times, right? Saying that the Saudi Arabian league is very strong, and that they should even count the goals you score in Saudi Arabia in deciding who wins the European Golden Boot was just, it sounded. But I tried not to bring that up because I'm not bantering Ronaldo right now, right? Now, let me excuse you as the reasonable Ronaldo fan and ask you this question sincerely. Looking at what Messi and maybe Messi fans went through in 2016, from the hands of not you now, of Ronaldo extremists, do you think it's unjustified?
No, I'm going to tell you. Okay.
Do you think it's now unjustified for Messi fans to give back now that Messi has now achieved more than Ronaldo?
You know, if you are a parent and you're watching this program, this should be an indictment of how you this should be a lesson on how you raise kids, because when you raise children, you should be able to co-regulate them. Should be able to instruct them when they are children, so that by the time they grow old, they will not become football extremists because the player they like did not win a trophy and the player they did not like won a trophy. When Messi won the World Cup, I supported France in that final because I had favorite players in the French team.
You didn't want Messi to win the World Cup.
Not just that. I prefer hold on. I've been supporting the French national team way before I started supporting the Argentine national team. Okay. For example, you had the likes of Zinedine Zidane that I watched, that I love. You had Lilian Thuram. You had Fabian Barthez, who used to be a Manchester United goalkeeper. Yeah. You understand the point? You had the Lizarazu. You had Desailly, Marcel Desailly. You understand? And then you had the same crop of players who won the World Cup in 2018. You had the Paul Pogba, who was a Manchester United player playing for the French team. You had an Mbappe, who was
so you have an emotional
listen now
connection to the
because
French
when two teams play, you tend to pick a side.
Yeah.
You tend to support a side, and then you be like, okay, I want this team to win. France won the World Cup. I never lost any sleep. All the places they go and say Ronaldo did this, Ronaldo will die, Ronaldo will not do this, Ronaldo. It doesn't even concern me because I'm bigger than that. I like Ronaldo. I like how he plays football. When Al Nassr is playing, I tune in. I enjoy it. If I'm watching Lionel Messi today and I want to enjoy it, I enjoy it. If I don't want to enjoy it, then I support a team against him. It should not. I was properly raised. It should not be a form of emotional abuse to me seeing Lionel Messi winning. You understand the point? So I think they selected Messi fans from amongst people who were not properly raised. I'm sorry I'm saying this, because if you have to be like, you want to dish, you want to lambast Cristiano Ronaldo, you want to do this, and these are people that would just get you arrested with Nigerian cyber crime laws if you attack them, if you dare give them anything. So, and you still did not let me finish. Hold on. I said, Cristiano Ronaldo said he feels that the Saudi Arabian league is stronger than the French league because That's where you came in. Let me add what comes after the because. And then if you want to actually look at this logically, you see he's saying the truth. Because of the competitiveness of the Saudi league, the French league today, or the German league, we already know it's going to be won by either Bayern Munich or PSG. It would be a miracle for another club to win it. You cannot say the same for the EPL. You cannot say the same for La Liga, even though it's a two-horse race. And you definitely cannot say that about Italy, the Italian Serie A. And that's how it is in the Saudi league. You cannot, in fact, even the Nigerian league, you cannot tell me now that it's Kano Pillars that will win the league. So and that is what he's referring.
Therefore, you are saying, okay, if I take that logic, it means that the Nigerian league is stronger than the French league.
It's more competitive. Stronger and competitive is different. Competitive means that you can have a different pool of winners. You understand the point? Now look at the people who have won the Nigerian league in the last 10 years. Juxtapose it with the people who have won the French league or the German league in the last 10 years, and you see the differences. Now juxtapose that same data with the people who have won the and that's why people who are Guardiola fans were saying Guardiola has turned the EPL to a farmers league. And I didn't see anything wrong with what they were saying, because the guy won 6 leagues in 7 years
of a league by looking at the individual team.
No, look at the individual team. You look at Al Nassr, for example.
I'm going somewhere. That one team has won the league multiple times does not reduce the competitiveness of the league.
Based on how Al Nassr is now, based on how the Saudi league is now,
Al Nassr has not been able to win the league
since he came in. Since he came in,
right?
No, since he came in, yes, they have not won the league, of course.
But you cannot now. If you look at the quality of the teams individually, you cannot compare the Saudi Arabian league to the French league.
You can't.
That was just him.
No, you can't.
That was
you
just
can't.
him trying
Actually,
to
look at the investment. Look at the investment.
It was just trying to be
look at the investment that Al Ittihad,
with that
Al Nassr, and the other clubs in Saudi Arabia have put into the Saudi league. Now, they've been building this for the past 5 years now.
Yeah.
You see them every year. They get 3 or 4 very good experts from outside, bring them in, you know, to bolster the quality of the league. And they've done this considerably over the time. If you put Al Nassr in any of the top 5 leagues in Europe presently, I'm very certain they're going to make top 4. If you look at the quality of players, if I look at it, you cannot compare Al Nassr or Al Ittihad with Nice, OGC Nice, or LOSC Lille.